All right, guys, let's talk about what you can text when she stops responding. This also includes if you think she's starting to ghost you. What can you do? What text could you send that's not going to freak her out or scare her away or creep her out? Kind of all the same meaning, right? So the first thing I want to talk about is you may have seen my other video about why women ghost. I think it is important to watch that, and I do a really quick review of that in that video, but it's important to understand why women may do what they do. But if you've been texting back and forth with a woman and it's been pretty good so far, doesn't have to be the most amazing conversation, but obviously she's responding. And then all of a sudden she stopped out of nowhere, right? What can you do? If you asked a question and that was the last text that was there, what you can do is a day or two later, send a check-in message. A check-in message that is very simple and casual, that it's really easy to respond to. Because this is a true test. If she sees this simple text and can't even answer that, that means you've been ghosted, right? So a check-in text is something as simple as, hey, how's the week going for you? TGIF, happy Friday. What are you up to this weekend? How has your week been so far? Something very, very simple. Do not go back to the last question, say, hey, you didn't answer my last question. Don't do that. It's already been gone. I don't know why she didn't respond to it. Maybe she got busy. Maybe she looked at it, knew that she wanted to respond to it, but it took too long for her to figure it out, so she tossed it by. Doesn't matter. Just let it go. You can bring that question up maybe later down the road if she answers. So that's the first thing. If she did not answer your first question, then send a check-in. Now, if you send a check-in and she still doesn't respond, yes, she's basically officially ghosting you. She's decided that she's not interested. There's very little instances where a woman comes back weeks later after you've sent 2 text messages asking a question and tells you, oh, I'm so sorry, I was gone for 2 weeks. It's rare. It hasn't happened maybe only once or twice I've ever heard. And it's not even with my own clients. It's probably just out of the blue, right? So know that if she doesn't respond for, let's say, about almost a week, like let's say 4 to 7 days after you sent that second question, and you want an answer, right? At this point, you're like, what happened? What did I do wrong? I thought the conversation was going well. Is there anything I did wrong? It's okay to get your answer. And that's what you're going to do. So what you can do is just send a very understanding text. The last thing you want to do is sound angry or irritated because she's not going to answer. And that's usually the biggest mistake men make when they text. That's something I'll go over later, like texting mistakes. But what you can do is after 4 to 7 days of her not responding to that second question, you can say, hey, I know that due to your non-responses, you're not interested in continuing this anymore, and I'm totally okay with that. I just wanted to ask if you have any feedback for me for my own journey. That's it. Keep it simple, keep it direct, straightforward, but you want to give a little bit of context and saying, look, I understand that this is done, right? Do not leave that out. Do not just text her saying, what did I do wrong? Do you have any feedback for me? Right? Because it could come off in a different way. So make sure that you start off the text by saying, I could see that you're no longer interested in this and I'm totally cool with it. And then once again, ask a question for feedback and see what she says. Most of the time, they're pretty receptive of that and they appreciate that you want feedback. And most of the time, I will say, if there hasn't been as much of a deep connection, women will probably say something like, I just wasn't feeling it, or I didn't feel the chemistry, or I'm dating someone else, I'm focusing on that, whatever the reason. There's usually not enough to go off of unless you actually dated her. And unless you saw her in person, then usually she has actual feedback for you. All right, so that's all you have to do. Those are the 2 texts. If she stops responding or she's potentially ghosting you, that's where you want to take it. You want to make sure you don't give it all up if she just stopped responding the first time. If you watch my other video about ghosting, things happen. People get busy. People travel. Give them a little slack, and just remember that it's okay to get your answer, right? So that's that. If that happens to you next, remember, you can send a text to get your answer. I will see you in the next video, and good luck with the texting.